Hi there, and welcome to the Kingdom Sexuality Podcast. We're Paris and Alana, friends who have a heart for intimacy and long to uncover God's truth and design for sexual freedom within marriage. Welcome here.
Hey guys, we're going to talk about spicing it up because to piggyback on our Mythbusters episode, myth we each believed was that sex is going to be so steamy and super spicy every single time. So we found out very quickly that we can easily slip into like sexual ruts, if you will, because you get into routine, right? Like I feel like we can all agree, we get into routine. Or maybe some of us get confused about what's permissible in the bedroom. Maybe we just don't have good ideas or clear ideas on like, oh gosh, like what are things we could do to like spice things up? So I want to share some stuff with you.
Yeah. And it's not really that complicated. I remember talking to some friends about it and they're like, well, you know, as a Christian, what do you think about this? Or do you think this is okay? And it's like, okay, well, all right. It's not really that complicated. In fact, so like we have some quick tips that are proof that spicing it up isn't that complicated. So start us off, Paris. What are your 3 tips for us?
So these are some favorite things of Neil and I that we'll like go back to and we're like, okay, we need to regroup here and we need to really be intentional about resetting or maybe reigniting is a better word, our sex life. So I'm going to hit you with some heavy hitters right off the hop because this is what I like and this is what we found to be really awesome. And talking with my girlfriends, they loved implementing some of these things too. So if you guys are ready, we're going to hop into it. So my number 1 tip, well, I'm not going to say number 1 tip because all 3 of these are really awesome, but this is the first one, is read godly, spicy sex books together in bed before you go to sleep at night. I am super straight to the point, and so the books I'm recommending to you guys tonight are also. So these books are super erotic. They're all godly. So like Alana said, we don't want to complicate things or be like, oh gosh, is this okay? Like, do I need to filter it? No, this stuff is amazing. And I have a lot of friends that absolutely love these books and I highly recommend them. So it's really fun reading sex books before bed because this honestly just opens up 1,000,000 doors. Because it's like, oh, wow, we never thought of this. Oh, wow, we need to work towards this. Oh, wow, this sounds amazing. Let's do this. And it's just really intimate talking about these things together. In fact, you know, we've been talking about communication a lot. This is a great place to start. Read books together. This is neutral ground. And it opens up really good conversations. So I am a huge advocate of reading together. I feel like you just can't lose. It's a win-win-win all around. So 2 of my favorite books I'm going to tell you guys here right now that we really love are Intimacy Ignited and Sheet Music. Both of them you can get on Amazon for a really great price. And I highly recommend putting those into your repertoire of sex books if you don't have them already.
Okay. That's amazing. I did not know. Like I knew like sex, like books about sex obviously existed, but are these like, what kind of books are these more specifically?
Okay. This is a good question. So these books are going to take you through like very intimate issues, you know, everything from intimate issues to positions and stimulation and working through, you know, maybe some physical trial and error, you know, everything from erectile dysfunction to orgasm struggles and just fun ideas for foreplay, even like literally all the things. They're both just absolutely amazing. And also I think the most important part is how it reformulates our mindset around godly sex and marriage and just really regrouping us to, okay, this is God's design. This is beautiful. And I love that.
I got to get some books.
Right? Oh my gosh. You're going to love these. You're welcome already.
Oh, good. I'm excited.
This is so good. Okay. So number 2, this is something that Neil and I have been doing for years, and it's have a little physical, as in like actually touching each other, or a verbal secret love code. Okay. So every time you do it or you say it, it instantly connects your brains and body to thinking about each other and thinking about intimacy. So this is so fun because you can do it in public. And I love that. I love that. It's like it gets you going, right? It really does, both of you. And it makes it fun. And I think having a fun aspect always tied into sex is really important as well. You know, like it's just a good thing to be like something you look forward to and something you make fun and enjoyable and laugh about. I feel like that's so important.
Yeah.
So it's just fun. Like you guys exchange your secret love language or your little code, and then you're just thinking about each other the entire time you're out. And it builds a lot of anticipation. And I think that's key, especially for us as women, because we are slow cookers. So building that anticipation with those codes is super fun little thing you can throw into your sex life.
I've never thought of doing this before until you say this, but it is such a great idea. I'm completely going to steal it. I'm totally going to do that. I'm so excited.
It's so fun. I'm excited.
That's a great idea.
So good. Okay. And I'll share my third tip. This is, okay. Oh, you guys, I didn't even say this earlier. I wanted to give you an educational tip. I wanted to give you a little secret tip. And then I wanted to give you an actual sexual tip. So this, I should have said at the beginning, but it's okay. I'm saying it now, so I'm just making connections in your brain for you. So this is your sexual tip. Play with each other's lips. I don't think we think of lips as a sexual organ very much because everybody has them and everybody talks with them and you see it all the time. And I feel like we kind of just numb that beautiful thing we could actually have with our husbands, you know, in the marriage bed. So I think this is just really cool because, you know, if you just look at your husband and you start looking at his mouth and his lips and you think of his beautiful words that he says to you and you make that emotional connection, and then you think of his tender kisses to you and you're making that, you know, that heartfelt, tender connection. And then you can go further and think of what he uses his mouth on you for sexually. You guys, like, the sky's the limit with this. And I feel like it's just a fun thing to do physically slash sexually together is focus on your man's lips. They're not just for kissing. You know, you can get all the emotions going there, playing with his mouth. Like, our lips are such an erotic thing. And I just think that's something that is a fun little fact or a fun little, you know, piece that you can add into your repertoire of lovemaking.
So good. Oh, that was good.
Good.
So true. And it is. It's like, it's kind of overrated. It's like, overrated, is that the word? But it's like people, you don't really think about it, right? It's like,
right?
But I remember too, when we were dating, I remember looking at Jeff's hands. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think we were like gatoring or we were on a quad or something. And I just like looked at his hands and I was like, we were just dating. And I was like, those hands are going to hold my body one day. And those hands are going to hold my children. Like, and I'm pretty sure I got teary because I just realized that, oh, these hands are my hands now. Like, and they're with me forever. And you can just, I feel like you can take so much of a person, like your husband's body and do this. And just when you really think about it and think it through, it's so powerful. And so, yeah, like you said, kind of erotic in a sense.
Mm-hmm. You pretty much just smashed that because I feel like you should have said this part of my of my speech because that's exactly what I was trying to get across. It's like, wow, you can look at your husband's body, like you said, and you can turn everything into such an intimate aspect. And I feel like we overlook those things, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. So, you know, look at your man's hands and be like, wow, like this is an amazing thing. His hands are amazing. You know, he does everything from providing for us to holding my body and making me feel glorious. You know, same with his lips, with his mouth. You know, he compliments me with them. He lifts others up with them. He encourages our children. He teaches our children. And he also makes love to me with them. You know, I just love that. I love that.
No, that's good.
Okay. So with that said, Alana, I'm excited to hear yours.
Okay. So yeah, this is something at one point in time I was trying to find resources on because I was like, how can I spice things up? We were in kind of a stressful season in life. We were, you know, this was recent. We were trying to buy a house. But even before that, Theo was just small. There's a lot going on. We were really connected, but we weren't really prioritizing sex as much as maybe we should have. So I gathered some tips and did some digging to try and spice things up when we were in a bit of a dry spell. So what's something Thank you.
Kudos to Alana.
Well, this is the whole part about having to learn, right? It's like you've got to do
Yes.
research. You've got to figure some things out because no one else is going to figure it out for you.
Exactly.
So, okay.
Exactly.
So my first tip was, and kind of goes along with, I guess, your lip one, but
I love it.
was to make out.
Mm-hmm.
So Song of Solomon 1 verse 2 says, kiss me and kiss me again, for your love is sweeter than wine. Mm-hmm. And like such a good representation of it, because when you think about it, like when's the last time you just made out with your husband, but sex wasn't going to happen?
Right.
I feel like that seldom happens anymore. It's like if you're making out, you're headed to the sheets. Like that's kind of like they're tied together. So in a, yes, it spices it up, but right before you make love to each other by making out, but try doing it earlier on in the day so that kind of, that's another way to get that slow cooker and like turning it on is you're making out and you're like, oh yeah, now I want it, but now I got to wait till later on. And so it's kind of, it helps you get in the mood and get excited about hitting the sheets later on. But also to think about back when you were dating and you were engaged and the thrill of a classic makeout sesh and just like it got the blood pumping.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So to think about that again and be like, is this the same? And I remember Jeff and I we make these little goals with each other. So the one time our goal was to like high five more. We're like, we don't high five enough. Let's high five more. Mm-hmm. Then we have a reminder in our phone. We actually have this still where it's like at 8:30 in the evening. We have a reminder in our phone to hug a big hug. Mm-hmm. We read somewhere that hugging for a long amount of time can reduce stress and just feel really connected. Every evening at 8:30, we were going to hug for, I don't know how long it is, 12 seconds or something, which kind of, when you're busy, doesn't really happen. And this was also another one, was to let's make out more. Just randomly during the day, kiss you goodbye in the morning, and then just make it a bit exciting. So that's my first tip.
I love that you said that, because Neil legit said this to me like probably 2 weeks ago. He's like, babe, we used to always make out. And it's just hit me that like every time we make out, it's to have sex after. It's like, foreplay. He's like, we need to just make this just a whole session focused on just loving each other to reignite those feelings of excitement that we would feel when we were dating or engaged, and just have make out session. I was like, dang, we need to work on that. So that's so true. I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like that's probably common for a lot of us in marriage, that we just don't make out just to make out and just to love it.
Yeah. All right. And my second one, which I haven't actually implemented yet. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, but I'm really excited to. So this is to create a his and hers night to add some spice.
Love it. I'm there for this.
So I saw this idea. I thought it was great. So there's one night a week, or you can plan it however you would like, but where your husband plans what's going to be happening in the bedroom that night. And then there's another night where you plan it out. So the rest of the week is just normal, whatever that looks like for you. But then that way, both couple feels like their wants and their needs are being met, and you both get to go all out to however far you want to. Like maybe you don't have to. Maybe it's been a busy week and it's simple, and that's fine too. But planning on how you want to make your night special. So I think there'd be so much anticipation around that, like knowing that Jeff is planning something.
Oh, this is amazing, because we need to do a session on love languages too. But this would feed my love language to the max, because gifts is huge for me, and this would feel like a big gift for me, because he thought of me all day to create this amazing night. Oh my gosh, I'm totally implementing this. Neil's going to be all over this too. I'm excited about this. I'm so glad you put this in here.
Yeah. So we'll have to talk about this another day and let you know how it's doing, everybody, because we're both going to start this out.
So fun. I love it.
All right. And my last one is, so this is something we have done, but is to create a to-do list. So different than your typical honey-do list, list of things to do in your house. But this is to sit down with your spouse, your husband, and create a list of locations that you want to make love.
Oh.
So it doesn't have to be crazy adventurous, like in an elevator or, on a beach or in the woods or whatever, but it could be. But just even think of creative locations in your home.
Yeah.
So like, Jeff and I did this at the start of the new year when we were like, okay, new year, let's make a to do me list. Like, where are we going to do this?
Exactly.
So, you think, okay, well, maybe in the car, maybe in the tent trailer, maybe by the Christmas tree, maybe on the couch, in the shower. Like the options are endless. But I feel like a change of scenery and a bit of excitement in that sense can really spice things up.
And you know what? I love this. And I'm going to piggyback onto this because I feel like this is going to hit hardcore the importance of just exploration and appreciation and trying new things while you're at it, because it's not going to be the same position in some instances.
No.
And so that's going to really jazz things up. I love that.
Yeah. And the great thing about this as well is that it really adds an element of fun to it, because sure, maybe I'm trying to we're like, okay, maybe let's, make love in the kitchen or whatever. And it ends up totally not working, or, just isn't comfortable. You laugh it off. You're like, okay, well, let's just go back to the bedroom. I feel like there's a lot of, it just kind of can release tension in that sense too, because you're just free to kind of figure it out, because you got to just figure it out as you go. So I think that adds a really fun element to just kind of kibosh the typical, normal, average, what you do every day sex.
I love it. That's so good. So good. There's going to be so many marriages just going on fire right now. So welcome, everybody.
Yeah. Our gift to you. You're welcome.
I'm excited for this. I'm excited to implement a lot of these things.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we're just doing this for each other and everyone else is just here for the ride. You guys just get to listen.
Funny. Oh, this is so good. Okay. So I wanted to say too, Alana made this point, and she said, obviously, there's hundreds of ideas out there for spicing up our sex life, but these ones are just ones that we really felt, impelled to share because they've impacted us, or we're like, oh yeah, we are implementing them because they are going to impact us. Right. So we're just praying and hoping that these are an instant hit and blessing over you guys.
Yeah. And God designed our bodies to find so much joy and pleasure with our spouses. So I think that's what an amazing gift, right? That God's given us. So I think to just really be intentional about thanking him for that gift, and then praying about this as well, and then working towards spicing it up continually with your husband. Because I think that's something you can ask God to help you get ideas as well. Because these aren't the be all end all. There's a million. We'll probably do another episode on this another day.
Yeah.
There's so many options and ways to spice things up. And if you're in a rut, to get out of it. So there's things that you do every time you make love, and that's great. The normal routine, that's perfect. But to break away from it is kind of exciting. So we're just encouraging you to take a risk, try something different, and see what happens.
Hey guys, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in and listening to Alana and I. We always have so much fun recording these things for you and building community with you guys. So I want to encourage you guys, be sure to subscribe so you can catch all of our new releases. Follow us on Instagram. We totally have a page. We're over there at Kingdom Sexuality. You'll see our handle down in the show notes. Feel free anytime to send us a DM or email us with topics or requests, prayer requests, any sort of the like, okay? Our hearts is to be here with you guys, to create safe community and an intimate relationship with you guys, and just be here to see you guys grow as godly couples.